So the day after the subway incident, I went back to work and just started having repeated panic attacks over and over and over again each day. I would just sit at my desk and just panic and panic and panic and panic, and I didn't know why, and I would get dizzy and feel like I was falling over, and it was not pleasant. I started to go to doctors to see what might be wrong with me. I became a definite full-blown hypochondriac. I had everything wrong with me at some point. In my mind anyway, and every single doctor I went to said the same thing. There's nothing wrong with you, you're fine, you're probably just anxious, which I didn't really understand, and for whatever reason there was no one really around at the time that I knew that could relate to having any sort of anxiety problems. I was determined to fix the problem, and I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions or problems people that have anxiety run into, is that there's nothing to fix. You're just anxious. You need to relax a little bit. Now I know that now, but back then I thought I needed to be fixed. It got progressively worse, and there was a point where the paramedics actually came, and I was having a panic attack on the president of my company's office floor, which was just horribly embarrassing. To top that off, I was having trouble pretty much going to any public place. Definitely not here. Which made living my life very difficult, and my quality of life was rapidly declining. And while my family and girlfriend were supportive, they were quickly losing patience with it, and which made me stress out more and try and fix the problem more. It began to come to a head when one day I was coming home from work and I felt this weird sensation in my body, and I freaked out and called 911, and the paramedics ended up taking me to the hospital. In that moment, my parents were indifferent, my girlfriend was annoyed, and no one came out to the hospital or anything like that. And it was probably the loneliest feeling I've ever had in my entire life. And that really changed it for me. I said, I don't ever want to come back here. I don't ever want to be here again. And so I started to look for other alternatives, because what I was doing thus far wasn't really working. It's not much fun when you can't even buy groceries. The problems got worse, and after 6 months on the job, I just had to quit because I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take sitting there and panicking day after day after day after day. I was exhausted all the time. Adrenal fatigue was setting in. And finally, towards the end of 2008, I realized that my quality of life was non-existent, and I had to do something drastic. It was something I didn't want to do, but at this point, all my other options had been exhausted, so I decided to go for it. How would you like to be the guy that had to put in every single one of these screws for miles?